Welcome to episode 20 of the Write and Inspire Rockcast. I'm on another of my walks, my creativity walks, and today I want to share some thoughts about some of the really obnoxious and not just unfriendly but very respectless comments I've been getting lately. And why do I want to share them? Not because I want to whine about them, but because I made a choice about 1.5 years ago when I started really growing on social media and I started getting these hate comments. I made a choice to use them in a positive way. And if you've been here for a while, then you know that I've been coaching for a long time, and I'm also a psychological counselor and a mental trainer. So I know how to really train my brain to make the best of it. And I'm a neuromental trainer, which means that I train my clients and myself mentally, or I train the mind based on the modern findings of neuroscience. And in this podcast, I share both the experiences I make, but also some stories of my clients. So this story is, let's call it, it's my story, because I want to share with you guys some of the most sexist comments that I got last week. And also, unfortunately, some comments that I've heard other ladies get, other lady content creators and also female coaches and female writers, I've heard them get, and I want to talk about them, and I want to talk to you about how we can turn almost anything we get into a positive. You know, I'm not all about toxic positivity, so I'm not saying everything is amazing, you know, I don't have these pink glasses on, but I am saying that we can turn almost every negative into a positive by changing our perspective. Before I continue, I'm just going to read these comments to you. I've also shared them on Instagram lately, and it is absolutely amazing, like impressive, stunning, how many people commented below that post. I'm going to link it below because you should definitely check it out. It is such an amazing proof that there is a beautiful mountain biking community and that there is much more than sexism and hate. But still, I want to read them to you, and I want to talk about this topic because I think we all need to be aware of the fact that there is this part of the mountain biking community. Women still struggle a lot, and although everyone keeps saying more women on bikes, I think the industry could do much more for us women to be more accepted. And also, I believe by creating awareness for these topics that we can start to show these people that it's not cool to be like that. Because I think a lot of people say these things because they think it's cool or they think it's male or strong, and they don't even notice that it's not cool. So here are the top comments. I'm going to read them to you. These are real comments that I got last week, so all of them in 1 week. The first one is, "You're bad. We all get it. Compare yourself to men and you'll see even teenagers faster than you. Everyone knows you girls get sponsored for breathing." And actually he added something like, "Yeah, you should definitely be a coach. Why would anyone want to learn from you?" The second comment was, "She's not even showing her boobies, so why does she get this amount of watches?" And the third comment was, "The day I take advice from a woman on mountain bike skills, just please shoot me." And I've heard from other lady content creators and coaches that they got a lot of fun comments, fun in quote unquote, and I'm going to talk about them later. But these are, in a way, they are super sexist, and they could be super hurtful. And I have to say, I did not take any of them personally. I started seeing them, as I said, about 1.5 years ago. I started seeing these comments as training cues. I started seeing them as drill instructors for my mental resilience and for curiosity. So I saw them as cues to spark curiosity and to look at, wow, what must have happened to this person to act this way? What must he or she have experienced to behave and feel this way? And I have to admit, and that's why I have been using the term mansplaining a lot lately, because it's just incredible that most of these, well, actually all of these comments now have come from men. And the, let's call it, hate I get from women is usually different, and it's way, way, way rarer. So I don't get it as often. Way seldom it's a female person commenting negatively. Usually it is men. And I'm not saying all men are like that. That also obviously would be sexist of me. But I am saying that this is the experience I've made. So that's just my empirical experience about comment I've been getting. So the first thing I want to invite you to is, when you get this kind of comment, is please don't take it personally. Because if you do that, then probably you're just going to react from a position of anger, and you're going to contribute to the pollution of hate, just like this person is. So it's not going to help them, and it's not going to help you. One of my favorite quotes is, never wrestle with a pig. You're both going to get dirty, and the pig is going to enjoy it. And the same applies to people bullying you or giving you hate or giving you these comments, that once you start giving the anger back to them, they're just going to enjoy it. They're going to get more of it because that's the language they're used to talking. What they're not used to getting is compassion and empathy. So I try to look at it and say, wow, okay, what must have happened to this person to act this way? And probably if I were in his shoes, I would probably be the same. I know it's a hard thing to imagine because some of the comments can be really harsh, but still, people don't act like this because they really want to, usually. Of course, they are making the choice in that moment, but why would anyone like being evil? It's usually because they are very unhappy, they are very unconfident, they have had some trouble in their life, and that's when they start thinking that this type of behavior is cool and is male or strong or whatever they think it is. I don't know, because I haven't talked to many of these people in person. But I can say that I've never ever met a person who is confident, who is educated, and who is happy, who does this. So it says a lot about these people. And that's what I also want you to invite. This is step 2. First is, as I said, giving compassion and bringing curiosity. And the second one is knowing that it has nothing to do with you. These people are just looking for someone to let their hate out on. They're looking for someone who will get bullied, who will get angry, and who will help them distract themselves from their own unhappiness. So it's not about you, and it's not about me in these comments. Of course, I could take it personally, but it's not going to help them. It's not going to help me. So knowing that it has nothing to do with me really helps. It says more about the person writing these comments than it does about me. You know, I always like to have this picture in my mind of a school shooting. If there is a shooter that comes to a school and he shoots people, no one would ever blame the victim, right? No one would ever say, oh, maybe the victim behaved badly, or maybe the victim dressed too flashy, or maybe the victim was provocative. No one would do that, right? No one would look for the slightest piece of blame on the victim's side. Everyone would be like, wow, a troubled young person got a gun, and maybe it's the gun availability that's the problem, or maybe he or she had a very bad childhood or whatever. But they would be looking on the shooter's side. No one would be looking on the victim's side. But when we get hate on the internet, or when someone bullies us, why are we looking for the blame on ourselves? Why are we saying, okay, I should have done something differently. I should have behaved differently. Was I provoking that person? No, it's not about us. It's about the person giving the hate. And that has been a game changer for me, that knowing that whatever anyone says about me, that it's not about me, that it says much more about the person saying these things, has really helped me take things personally less. So take things neutrally, let's call it. And it has helped me to see these comments, as I said, as a drill instructor to train my resilience, to train my empathy, to train my compassion, and also sometimes to train my creativity in answering. So you should definitely check some of the comments out that I got over the last weeks and how I answered. Like some guy, for example, wrote comfortably the worst reel of all times. And I answered, well, I think his name was, I don't know, Jimmy or something. And I was like, well, Jimmy, then it's super smart of you to comment on it, because then the algorithm will think you like it and show you more of it. So I start to get confident and cocky with my answers sometimes. And also, I enjoy the creativity it releases in me. What I also like doing is reframing the things they say. For example, a guy commented on another lady's video and said, you're never going to be successful unless you have an OnlyFans account. So, of course, that is very disrespectful to say. However, if you think about it, it's a compliment, because he's saying that she is super sexy and that people would pay to see her naked. So you can reframe everything and try to find the positive side on everything. I'm not saying that it's okay what these people are doing, but I am saying that you don't want to give them the power to make you angry and the power to make you sad or the power to reduce your confidence. You can take it as a drill instructor to make you more confident and to make you more empathetic, to make you more friendly, because we can learn from everything. And that's what I love so much about mountain biking and also about my social media journey, is that it has helped me to become more confident and to really know what I am, to know and to embrace my authenticity and to find my soul's calling and to not allow my ego or my flaws to bring me down. So I wanted to share this because I think, for one thing, we need to create awareness for the amount of sexism that still is there. Like some of the ladies wrote, wow, I've been racing and I've been getting on the podium. And then my colleague who's racing with me and he never gets on the podium said, oh, I wish I was a girl, because then I'd get on the podium more often, because the guy was just as fast as the woman. But so many men out there, and generally people out there, forget that yes, we women do have disadvantages physically when it comes to riding mountain bikes. Generally, we women are usually shorter. We have shorter limbs, which means we need more strength because we don't have long levers. Usually we have less quick strength. Usually we have less testosterone. So of course women will have slower regeneration. I'm not saying this is true for everyone, but the average woman is shorter. The average woman has less testosterone. The average woman has less quick strength. And of course, many women will be much better riders than many men, but the best man on the world will always be way, way, way better than the best woman in the world. If you, for example, compare race times, the fastest female racer at an enduro race will always place among the last riders in the male category. So if she was running in the male category. And that's why it's important to acknowledge that yes, we do have disadvantages anatomically and from our strength and so on, but it doesn't mean that we cannot be strong, and it doesn't mean that it's easy for us and that we will just get sponsored for breathing. As that guy says, we need to put in a lot of work to be a very good rider. And yes, women need to put in a lot of work to get sponsored. Then another woman wrote below my post, she's like, I was in the middle of nowhere and I've been riding for over 20 years. I'm a super experienced mountain biker, and I see this guy with a beginner's bike and beginner's clothes and clearly a beginner. And he's like, wow, how did you get all the way out here on your own? And she looks at him like, well, pedaling just the way you did. So why do men think that we women are creatures that need to be protected and that cannot find their own way, or that we cannot be out in the wild by ourselves? It is still, unfortunately, very, very popular out there, and I just wanted to create awareness for this. I also wanted to create awareness that no matter how popular and how big you are on social media, you will always get hate. It is part of the game. Don't take it personally. Take it as a nudge to work on your resilience, to work on your empathy, and don't give these people the power to make you feel bad, no matter what it is. If you like my podcast, I would really, really, really appreciate if you bought me a coffee and if you supported me on Patron, because I'm not earning any money with this podcast and I want to keep these episodes coming. Let me know if you found this helpful. Share this episode with people you believe it may help, and drop me a rating and a comment if you think it was helpful and you liked it. That's all I've got for you today. Sending you my love from Spain. I'm Roxy. Goodbye.